Hi everyone, just wanted to give a quick product update and also really, I suppose, to show what we are investing in as part of the private placement, what we're building as our next step. So to do that, I think it's important to go through some of the stuff that we've already built as a starting point and give you a bit of a demonstration of that, and then also go and highlight what's coming up next. So the first part is just this opportunities area. So we've spent a lot of time on this. The recommended for you is a combination of preference matching and also the AI ML. So the preference matching is typically done through here with the investor details, right? And then as the platform builds information over time, then the AI ML kicks in. As you can see, the little things like the love heart make a difference, or when you look at companies like Rex, for example. I said you can actually, so the more I look at an opportunity, the more it recognizes the types of opportunities I'm interested in. Or if I haven't looked at a company previously or requested access, I said I can rate how relevant this opportunity is for me as an example, and then that then also provides feedback as well. So those little feedback loops are helpful for building the data profile inside the actual platform. Likewise, we've just released the chat messaging inside it as well. And I think that's important to note because basically now we can actually have communications across multiple different deal rooms. So for any corporate advisors or for any groups that are dealing with multiple opportunities, they can communicate across all those opportunities. So I think that's also an important milestone for us as a company. Now, some other things as well I want to highlight that we've actually built in the back end. So this, as I mentioned previously, we've actually built our own conference software because we had a really hard time working with other conference software. But also the way we think about our conference software is in the future, we will offer this to other groups to run demo days and workshops and so forth on, so that they can basically have an integrated experience when it comes to raising. So as you can see, typically you got the deal cards and even the small stuff like having the screen pop up down here, just so that someone can keep on watching a presentation whilst looking at the deal. But this is perfectly integrated. If they click on this, it then goes through to their actual deal room and they can have a look at. Obviously, the agenda is completely integrated as well. This has probably been one of the most popular parts of the actual platform, the actual networking zone. So you can see that for the Singapore event we did in August, there were 668 people that set up profiles in here. This has now created for us a beautiful data set, of what we can have going forward. And, this is obviously our internal network. Now, the way we think about it is in the future, so when I showed you the AI back here, the AI works one way. So effectively you as an investor can see opportunities that are relevant for you. What we now have the capacity to do is to have the reverse AI. So this is the next step of the implementation. So let's say I see that Jonathan is relevant for me. I'll have the ability to connect with Jonathan, right? So basically the platform will show him as a relevant investor for me. Let's say he's put up there fintech, SaaS, AI, ML, whatever it may be, data. Basically, the platform will show him as a relevant potential investor for me. I'll be able to connect with Jonathan. He can then, like similar to LinkedIn, he can then either accept or reject my connection. If he accepts, then I've got the capacity to communicate with him. Now, that's super important is because it means that basically it's facilitating, founders being able to be proactive on the platform with connections. And also it's helping investors discover opportunities that they may have missed because simply you're just busy, right? So that's been really important for us. All this sort of stuff it wouldn't be that exciting for you as an investor, but it's important for us from our delivery of service point of view. This will also have a recommended as well as far as a conference experience. The other thing I should highlight, the filters are amazing in the way in which you can actually put down, okay, I want to search for family offices, investors, fund managers, etc. Or if you want to look for syndicate leads or people that are willing to follow, that is important as well. Stage, keyword, like all that sort of stuff is relevant. Now, obviously, we will use our matchmaking capacities to simplify it, but I think this filtering is a really good step up. And then likewise, all the sort of keywords or main sort of ways, all the buzzwords that people typically use in our space can all be covered in here, right? So that's all very straightforward from an experience perspective as an investor. So now the other part I want to show is this is actually on our demonstration platform that we build on. So this is now, the events are now going to be integrated into the platform. And you can see that as part of also building awareness, is also that simple ability to add to calendar, present at the event, register to attend, etc. And that's all integrated with our backend. So that's obviously our high level room stats. Basically, if you go into the event system, right, and by the way, that room stats, I won't show too much because obviously got company details in it, but that's really important because it gives us a full visual on what's actually happening behind the scenes of the actual platform. So with the event system, obviously this is the registration part. This is actually really important. This is all like the Singapore one I was showing you. This is all integrated into the platform. We get some good insights on how many people are going to be attending online, how many people are going to be attending offline. It's always interesting to note that now 44% are going to be going online, which is important for us for our own planning of events going forward. Likewise, we do all the agenda and so forth through here. It's all editable, it's all changeable, etc. And then also same with the exhibit, doing all the exhibitors, being able to move things around, being able to change things, being able to make people sponsors and so forth is also very straightforward from our side. And then obviously we can manage the setup. So when we're dealing with other groups going forward, we've made it as simple as possible for them to have an experience in the way in which they actually set things up on their platform. I should actually highlight that if you go behind the scenes on some of these as an opportunity perspective, I'll use one of the ones that we're working on at the moment. All right, so we've done a fair bit of stuff with Surf Lakes. It's good to note that all this is editable. All this is actually changeable. Like you can move this stuff around. We actually have templates for funds and so forth, and we can create other templates going forward. Likewise, companies can use these rooms for board meetings. They can use it for R&D grants. They can use it for anything that's capital related, even debt financing, right? So we encourage companies to set up multiple rooms as well and obviously engage with them. And then obviously the transactions can take place on the rooms as well. So said all this is really important for us from just having a really streamlined experience of the actual platform. The other part I think is really important to note. Okay, I covered that part. The other one that's important to note is that we built this so that this is so CRIISP is the engine, right? And the new Wholesale Investor site will effectively be the first version of a white label. So you can see that we can edit everything in here. We can choose which deals go where, we can move it, we can add queries, we can just have a section of, here's the top trending views, latest, most viewed, etc. as far as for showing it. Now, where that actually appears is here on our new website. So this will be released shortly. We're just going through our final testing, right? But effectively, you can see that straight off the bat, there's Leone Hill and there's Unhedged, right? So I said everything is driven from our admin panel here. So effectively, the Wholesale Investor website is the first version of what a white label could look like. And we've done it from an API and documentation perspective because we don't want to be website builders for other people. We just want to make it really easy for them to do it for themselves. So we've simplified that in a lot of different ways. So there's some of the key things that we've actually built and that we've actually set up. And really, as this next step said, the key things we're going to highlight is that we're currently ingesting over 200,000 investors into the platform. So it's all the global VC, PE data, family office data, etc., globally on the platform. So this means our clients will have the ability to proactively reach out to investors. So for example, if they're looking to expand their business to the UK, they can actually do that via the platform. And then likewise, the reverse AI is another important milestone. So as I said, if let's say Jonathan's a recommended investor for me, I can connect with him. And then if he accepts that connection, I can engage. These three aspects basically set us up for our product-led growth of the future and a much higher level of engagement and proactiveness on the platform because we're designing the product to allow people to do what they naturally do and sort of us getting out of the way. Now, the other part is if you have a look at the way in which we do these recommended, as an example, the opportunities, effectively, we will have automated email communications going out from the platform, covering off these areas, the AI ML references, what is trending, latest, most viewed. But the way we've thought about it is really from a keyword perspective and also relevance perspective. So that effectively what that means is that investors should only receive deals which are relevant to them based on what they've actually selected. So this removes us having to curate and do emails all the time. It just becomes programmatic from the platform. So that's what we've been building.